Welcome to the Progetto 65 Tech Tree Showcase. If you've watched any of my other content before, you know the drill. We start out at tier 5 with the P43, all the way up to tier 10, which is the Progetto 65. Now this line does have an auto-reloader mechanic, but that doesn't start until tier 8. Also, I've already done a Rinoceronte Tech Tree Showcase, so some of this is going to be a little bit of an overlap with the P43 and the P43 Bis, respectively. But it is time to start out at tier 5 with the P43. This is your typical tier 5 medium tank. It's not absolutely fantastic, but it's not bad either. It just sits in the middle and is absolutely fine to play. I don't think many people are going to struggle with this tier. You get 110 alpha damage with 118 penetration on the standard rounds. If you go to premium rounds, which is APCR, you have 146. And if you go ahead and use the HE rounds, you have 175 alpha damage, but your penetration goes down to 38, which means that it's really for very, very lightly armored tanks or for decapping people. You have a 3.24 second reload time, which gives you 2035 average damage per minute. You combine that with a 2.1 second aim time and 0.36 dispersion at 100 meters, and this is completely fine at tier 5. This is also quite forgiving as well, because if you do miss a shot, it's only 3 seconds until you get the next shot out, so you can kind of be a little bit forgiven for missing shots in this thing. You have 600 hit points, which is to be expected for this tier, and for the top speed, you go at 42 with 18 in reverse and 14 power to weight. Now, when I was doing my Rhino video, I did actually use a turbo on this tank, and you could do. I'm going to use vents for this one, but you could easily switch this out, put a turbo in, and then you go 46 for the top speed, 20 in reverse, and 15 power to weight. It's up to you at the end of the day. Either really works. You have 16% camo, which is very good considering we don't have any camo crew or equipment, and your view range is 504 meters. However, we are using binos, which then brings me on to the equipment. We are running vents, rammer, and binos. Binos because it's very, very important at tier 5 to have view range. View range down at these low tiers is super vital because not many people have it. And if you can be the one that does have it, that is more assistance and more spotting for you and your team. So yes, this does have 504 meters view range, but if you're just going around normally, you're only going to have 403 until the binos activate. When it comes to armor on this vehicle, you basically don't have any, but there are a few auto ricochet spots that people will hit. Above the turret here, if they do go for the cupola, for instance, and they go a little bit low, they'll bounce, but most of the time, they're just going to go straight through your upper hull, your lower plate, or even the gun mantlet over here. It is quite nice, however, that you will get some bounces if you try to side scrape, because it is 50 millimeters thick, but just be aware this does overlap over the tracks on the side, and people will hit this. So overall, your average tier 5, I don't see many people struggling with it, and you should get through this pretty quickly. What on earth is this A20 doing? I mean, the A20 is just dead. I don't understand. In what world does this work as well? How? What are they doing? I have never seen a team just push the mid. And successfully do so as well, I might add. This makes no sense. Tier 5 never ceases to amaze me. Well, Artie is over here somewhere. You know what? We go into the bush, we activate the binos, and we see what we can see. I don't know whether or not we'll be able to spot the... where are you going? I don't know if you'll be able to spot the Artie and stuff. Oh, wait. Panzer 4H. He is moving. He will spot the artillery for me. It's over here somewhere. There is the artillery, but this guy needs to die. Okay, he's going to die. Look at that. I don't even need to look at him. I know he's on fire. He's never going to put it out. Beautiful. It's time to move forwards. Another VK. Can I shoot this one? Oh, hello. He's actually behind, so I will never be able to shoot him. In that case, then, we're just going to push down here and try and kill the Wolverine, he says. He's just going up. He's off on an expedition. Look at him. Where is he going? Okay. I reckon the Stug's up there. I mean, surely he's either here or the Wolverine behind me. I'm just going to go and proxy the Wolverine. I need my Chaffee to push to try and clear that out, though. I mean, Wolverine is not here. He is running away. Wonderful. That one also was dipping low. Oh, the Stug has run away as well. I'll just keep going. He's probably up to the right over here. Look, this tree has fallen, so maybe. I don't know what is going on in this game. Like... Sure. And the M10 is just going to be chilling over here somewhere. I ammo-racked him for 3 damage. That sums up this game perfectly. We now move on to tier 6, which is the P43 Bis. This is a beautiful upgrade from what you've just been playing at tier 5. You have 240 alpha, which is super, super nice at tier 6, and you have 140 standard pen, with the premium round being APCR, that goes up to 180. The HE again though, even though you got up to 320 alpha, you only have 45 pen, which is okay, but most of the time you're not going to see that many targets that you can pen with it. You have a 5.9 second reload, and that gives you 2,437 average damage per minute. You then have 2.1 second aim time and a 0.35 dispersion. This gun is what makes this tank. It is just very, very nice to play. However, it will be extremely derpy sometimes. There will be times that you fully aim and it just goes, no, I feel like missing today. So just be aware of that. It isn't a perfect gun, but it is nice to play. Your hit points are 830, which is absolutely fine. Your top speed is 50 and 20 in reverse. You also have a nearly 16 power to weight, so you're actually pretty fast. The camo rating is 18.5%, and considering, again, we don't have any concealment for the crew or equipment that will help us out, this is really, really good. And we now have 458 meters view range, and we are using coated optics, so that is active all the time. Which then brings us nicely onto the equipment, which is vents, rammer, and optics. Now, if you're not going to be using food like I am here, then you can go ahead and ditch the optics for binos, because that way then you'll have more than enough view range still. Although even with just coated optics and without food, you still get 438, so that's not too bad. When it comes to the armor on this vehicle, you don't really have any. You see, you can go directly through the turret front at 110, and you can go directly through the upper hull at around about 130, all the way down to 70 if you go for the lower plate. And you can also overmatch the roof with anything greater than a 75 caliber gun. It really doesn't matter that there's a cupola on the left here because the rest of the tank is just as weak nearly. So yes, you will get sometimes a ricochet on the side of the turret, but no, don't rely on it. And again, you can't really side scrape because this sticks out over the side and is incredibly weak, even though that the side armor is 50mm thick. So yet again, another lovely, lovely tank in this line. It feels very, very nice, and tier for tier, this is probably one of my favorite tanks in this entire line. It just feels nice to play. The 240 alpha is nice at tier 6, and you have a really nice reload time as well. The only downside I will say is that the soft stats on the gun are not that great regarding bloom levels, so you may struggle with that. And it does also add to the whole derpiness feeling of the gun, but let's be honest, it's tier 6, and to have this alpha with this DPM is really, really nice. Do we go and just be with the other tanks? Yes. Yes, we do. Right. Oh. Yeah, we're not peeking this. I mean, someone just shot that. That is being aggressive. Excellent. Yes, KV-1SA, my hero. Wait, so is he on his own? Because like this 40 TP really is trying to run away. Right, the KV-1SA will deal with that. Now, we should actually be able to push up and then shoot this guy from behind. And then this guy will die very, very fast. There we go. Virtual 7. Oh, I forgot that I don't have intuition. I'm put him right in the gun mantlet. And we'll get ready to go back to shooting stunner rounds. I mean, 240 alpha does feel quite nice at tier 6. I mean, 2.3k. Look at that. I do like these like lower tier, more mid tier mediums in this line. Ah, Mr. Excalibur, that's a little bit of a problem. Imagine if that hit. Mate, please. Did you see him turn? Right, on it, some of the best drone I've ever seen. I mean, that was good, 2.4k. If we got a few more kills, we would have got an ace. Apply. We then move up to the tier 7, which is the P43 Ter, or Peter. Now, Peter has the same 240 alpha damage, but it gets a nice little bump up in the standard pen to 165. If you were to use the premium round, that then goes up to 195. And the HE is exactly the same with 320 and 45 pen. However, this now has a 6.3 second reload instead of the 5.9 at the tier 6, and this now has 2.2, nearly 2.3k DPM. The aim time and accuracy is also exactly the same as the tier 6 that you just played. speed. I will say that even though these stats are worse just on paper here in the garage, the soft stats are much nicer. It doesn't feel as derpy to play this tank, and I feel like that is an okay trade-off, but at the same time they could have just made it exactly the same DPM but just gave it a nicer gun. This is a tier higher after all. You have 1100 hit points, which is very good, and for your top speed you go at 55 forwards with 20 in reverse and a power to weight of nearly 20. This is really, really nice, and you do notice the speed upgrade from the tier 6 that you just played. You have slightly less camo than the last tank at 18.1, but you're splitting hairs at that point, and your view range has gone up to 484, and again we are using optics. Even if you were not to use food, you still have more than enough view range just with optics alone. And of course it's the same equipment that we have been running throughout all of this: vents, rammer and optics. Now for this vehicle you do get a little bit more armor at 130 now to go through the turret face, and the actual upper hull is a little bit more well angled, and you're going to need about 170 to reliably go through it at the very top. However, let's be honest, everyone's just going to shoot the turret as soon as they see it. Now for all intents and purposes this is basically the same tank at tier 6, just bumped up, and for some reason it then gets less DPM because of that. But for the rest of it, it feels absolutely fine. You're slightly faster, you have a little bit more view range. It's a nice little upgrade from the tier 6. But I do think that tier for tier wise, if you were to compare these two, the tier 6 is better, even though this does have a nicer gun. But that's not saying that this tank is bad, because honestly, for all of these tanks so far, from the tier 5 up to tier 7, beautiful. Do I want to go to the right, the middle? I'm going to go to the mid. I think the mid will be okay, and then I can move around to other places at least. I don't really want to go to the left and then just get stuck there. And I could go to the mid and get stuck there as well, but it's besides the point. I want... You had fun? I want the T-71 to now push up and spot the back over here if he can. Should we just put one blind into this? I mean, the AMX-12T is there, so maybe if we put one blind, they might start shooting back or something. I mean, we don't get spotted, so I'm just going to push. Push up to the mid. We can then go and shoot the KV-1S and the Skoda T25, hopefully. I mean, we win the mid, but the rest of the map isn't looking fantastic. This KV-2 might cross this, actually. Wow, okay. Maybe we can kill him anyway? What did I get spotted by? The Skoda behind me? No way the KV-2 spotted me. Did the KV-2 actually spot me? The most view range I've ever seen on a KV-2. Yeah, the Skoda just found out that he's pretty light. I need to destroy this, it's in the way. Didn't quite get out of the way fast enough. Good. Should be able to shoot the KV-13 as well. That's not good. It's alright, we're angling well. That was all me, that. Well angled there. When is the KV-13 this well armoured? Okay, what want to do now? Bounce off an E25? Let's go and kill this KV-13. And to be fair, we should probably kill the E25 before anything else. There we go. And now for you, Mr. KV-13, who apparently has 1 million armor. Should I just ram him? Yeah. Come here. Yes. You get some damage, I get a kill, everyone's happy. Beautiful. 2.4k, need 2.5k. Assistance. Perfect. Apply. We now move up to tier 8 with the Pantera. This is the first tank in the line that is going to use the auto-reloader mechanic. You are going to have a set amount of shells in a magazine. In this case for the Pantera, it is 3 shells. These shells will be constantly reloading in the background until all 3 shells are in your clip, or you fire, which interrupts the reload. So for the first shell that loads, it is going to be 9.6 seconds. You then have 8.8 seconds for the next one, and the final shell that you load will be 7 seconds. This obviously means that you want to be firing only that last shell, which is 7 seconds, which is going to give you the best DPM, which in this case is 2056. And you can happily sit at that last shell by just firing it once, you wait for that 7 seconds, you then have it reloaded, and you still have the other 2 shells in the magazine, which nets you the best DPM, and also having a 2 shell backup if you need to get a kill or just dump damage because it's near the end of the game. Now, if you did want to dump your entire clip, it's going to take you 2.5 seconds in between each shell. So you fire once, wait 2.5 seconds, next shell, wait 2.5 seconds, then the next shell, then you'll be reloading for 9 9.6 seconds, and then so on, so on. For the damage on this tank, you have 240 alpha with 212 standard penetration. If we were to use the premium round, which is APCR, that goes all the way up to 259. And if you wanted to use HE, it is exactly the same as the tier 6 and the tier 7 with 320 alpha but 45 pen. However, we now need to speak about intuition and how it works with auto reloaders, because it is not the same as auto loaders. Some of you may be thinking, this is absolutely great. I'll use intuition. That means that when I have a full clip, I can intuition it out and it loads full APCR, for example. No, that's not how it works. You see, for auto reloaders, intuition is pretty pointless because it only loads the first shell super fast. You're then on reload for the other shells in the magazine. So for example, you would intuition out of a full AP clip into APCR, but you would only then load that 9.6 second reload really fast. You then have an 8.8 and then a 7-second reload still to come. And that is the reason why coming up through the line, you'll see me not use any HE on these tanks, no matter how good or bad it is. Because in most cases, it's just going to take too long to actually load the HE I need, and I might as well just dump my clip with the AP. But for the rest of the stats, you do have a 1.84 second aim time and 0.29 accuracy, which is absolutely lovely. This gun is really nice, and it does set you up nicely to learn the mechanic, and it kind of babies you into it, because you do need to be aware that later on down the line, it's important to learn the mechanic. But for this tank, you could kind of dump and run a little bit, but try and learn it if you can. You have 1,400 hit points, which is absolutely lovely. And for your top speed, you got 60 forwards with 20 in reverse and 22 power to weight. So more than fast enough as well. The camo rating for this vehicle is 27%, but be aware we do have a full camo crew. And for the view range on this vehicle, it is 484, exactly the same as the tier 7 you just played. Equipment wise, we have changed slightly. We obviously can't use a rammer because this is an auto reloader. So we are using vents, optics, and stab. Stab is pretty important, and I would recommend everybody uses it. Some may say that you can ditch the optics on this vehicle, and for you, sure, it might be worth it, but you go down to 440 meters, and that's using food. Yes, you could go ahead and use a turbo or improved hardening or whatever you might want to choose, but I think the optics is the best choice at this tier. And once again, the armor is absolutely nothing to talk about because you don't really have any. At this tier, 164, everybody's going to go through your turret face, and the upper hull, 115, no. Just forget about it. So as I said, Pantera, absolutely fine. Good tank to learn the mechanic in, and it will teach you for the rest of the line. The gun is good. It feels nice to play. It's fast enough, has enough hit points. It's a good tank. We're going to go to the right-hand side and play from this position here because I quite like starting out that. It allows you to then shoot anybody that crosses here, and also just gives you some cover. Usually then you can progress either forwards this way or come back to base, etc. It's quite nice. Oh, artillery has been spotted, although I don't think that anybody's going to be able to shoot it. The Type 59 is going for the Barask, and I don't know if he's going to win that. The CS is on his way. Yes. Repair it. Oh, I'm so good at this game sometimes. I'm not going to be able to track him again, but at least I saved the Type 59 from the Barask. Gave him time to kill the Barask. That's good. I wish I could play like that. What are you doing? What are you doing? I'm dead, but why is... Oh... We'll play another game, but we're going to leave that one in. I think we go straight to the city. There's not really that many heavies, and it's a Tiger P and a Tiger 1, so... Ooh, hello. Oh, worth a shot. Okay, just don't go anywhere close to where I'm aiming it then. Why is my T-29 sniping? Like, could we play the game, maybe? No? Don't want to? Okay. Right, well, we're abandoning the city. My T-29 is now dead. Literally has the best tank for the valley, and he went to the middle of the map. And now they've won the valley. I mean, this team was just useless. They're never winning anything. That's alright, that tank has a lot of armor. If I kill this, it's maybe winnable. I mean, it makes up for the other shot. I'm so slow. Of course, man. Alright, just low premium, please. Where's the E25 going? Mate, I'm gonna bank round and just beeline for this E25 wherever he is. He's probably still over here. He's actually moved all the way back. That's not great, but if I can kill the Tiger 2 and the Panther... Sorry, the Tiger and the Panther 2. Now that's good. Unfortunately, though, we have to now go and chase an E25. What? Okay, now we just need to make sure the E25 doesn't go out past the G-Saw. I don't really fancy chasing it. Okay, he's just rammed him. That's made life a lot easier, but he could also now lose this. Please put one more in. Perfect. We're taking that as a good game. It wasn't the highest damage, but I don't know what's just happened in that game. I mean, 6 kills, I guess is good. Damage is not so good, but apply. We now move up to the tier 9 with the standard B. This tank is where it starts going wrong for the line. Now, I will say, before we go any further, there are some people that absolutely adore this tank, and I can understand why. Because sometimes this gun is fantastic. However, there are also times where this gun doesn't want to do anything. This is also a tank where you're really going to have to start to master only using that last shot and then dumping the clip when it's completely necessary. Even more so than the Pantera, because this is quite important because you have a very long reload otherwise. You have 360 alpha with 268 penetration for the standard rounds, a lovely step up from the tier 8. And for the premium rounds, you actually get 330 heat, which is super, super nice. You have no issues at all with penning people. The HE on this vehicle is also really, really good with 440 alpha and 105 pen, but you're never going to use that. The first shell in this tank is 13.1 seconds, and the best shell in this tank, and there's only 3 in a clip, is 9.6, which means that on the best shell, you get 2,243 DPM, and that is basically as high as you're going to get. However, if you were to fire on the first shell, you only have 1,648 DPM. So yeah, please do make sure you fire on that last shell, because the time to complete a full clip is 34 seconds, and that does feel like an eternity when you're in game. The aim time is 2.2 seconds, which is not that nice to play with, if I'm being honest, and the accuracy is 0.32, which is not as good as the Pantera you just played. But the main problem with this tank is not the accuracy or anything like that, it's the bloom levels. The bloom levels really, really ruin this tank, and considering that you have a higher aim time as well, it just doesn't feel nice to play. It feels like you're constantly battling the gun bloom more than the enemies that you're shooting. And that is what makes this gun infuriating to play sometimes. You do have 1,700 hit points, which is lovely. Again, all of these tanks have pretty good hit points for their tier. Top speed wise going forward, you have 65, which is great, and 23 in reverse with 20 power to weight. Absolutely fine regarding the mobility on this tank. You also have 35% camo, and again, we are using camo crew, so keep that in mind, but this is really, really nice, especially if you are trying to snipe people, although good luck with this gun sometimes. And we're now at 496 meters view range, which means that you could go ahead and ditch the coated optics if you wanted to, because you only go down to 451 meters view range, which allows you then to go ahead and choose hardening. You could choose IAU, you could choose a turbo if you wanted to, or even low noise exhaust. I personally would probably choose something like hardening if I could put it on the correct slot, but for this video, we're just going to stay with the optics, which means that all the equipment is the same as the Pantera with vents, optics, and stab. When it comes to the armor of the standard B, it is the worst one yet. You see, this only has about 60 to 70 millimeters on the turret, and if you go directly into the gun, it's 140. And on the hull armor, it's 77. You do not have armor on this vehicle at all. But yeah, the standard B, it's just sad really. I used to love playing this tank before it got nerfed, and it's now just a shadow of its former self. You can still have good games in it, you can still have good damage in it, but it just feels sad to play if you remember the old version of this tank. Okie dokie, where are we going? What are we doing? We start on the left-hand side. I think that's for the best. I think we start out by just sniping, and then we see how the game goes. What are you doing? I shouldn't have fired the last shot. It's not worth to fire this shot. We wait until it's loaded. Honestly, the DPM just goes off a cliff if you fire the last shot in this tank. Really not an enjoyable experience. We hit the only part of a Leo PTA that you can bounce. Again. Not that time though. It's 2 to 3. At least we have an EBR 90 over this side now. The AOC is still in the middle of the map though. I mean, their EOC is better than the EBR 90. Also, our EBR 90 doesn't have camo. Please, paint your tank. He's going to end up dying, like the way he's moving. Alright, we're not shooting the last shell. We'll fire 2, but we're not shooting the last. I mean, if they kill that, we're in a much better position now, if that dies. We may need to switch to heat. Really? We're now loading heat. That's why we fired the whole clip. Oh, wow. Type 57 is also coming. Okay. I know it ruins the DPM, but he needs to die. We need to get the guns out of the game. At least this bush line is working really well. I think I might just fire and reload here. Okay, this is good. That UDES is not good, though. We're now going to reload. We'll reload fully if we can. What's the Type 57 doing? He's low, so he should be okay. I mean, we actually spot all of this as well, which is good. I reckon he keeps peeking this as well. Can I knock this tree over and then that gives me enough camo? This is not so good. They need to try and... If they can kill that, then it's okay. Oh, I have just gone into literally all of them. That is not what I wanted to happen. I mean, it's not the best of situations I'm in. Yeah, there's no way I'm winning. Right, our team just didn't play the game. I mean, we tried. We are now finally at the tier 10 with the Progetto 65. You basically have the same gun that the standard B was just using. You have 360 alpha, 268 standard pen, which is APCR, and the premium round being 330 heat. You also then have the pointless 440 alpha damage HE with 105 pen. However, this vehicle now has 4 shells in the magazine, and you really need to learn how to manage these shells. Because you can very quickly go from having not great DPM at 9.2 for the last shell to really, really bad DPM with 1,469 if you were to fire only the first shell, which is a 14.7 second reload. And not only is that just catastrophically bad DPM if you would get stuck on that only first shell firing, it takes 47 seconds, nearly 48 seconds to load a full clip. And the next shell in the magazine at 12.9 isn't much better, which is why I said at the tier 8 with the Pantera, you should really get to know how to use this mechanic because it's going to help you later on down the line, and this is the reason why. You have a 2.08 second aim time and 0.3 dispersion. That might not sound too bad, however, they have thoroughly butchered the bloom levels on this tank, and it is not a nice experience. The gun just feels miserable to play. Again, you have exactly the same issue that you have with the standard B. It was such a beautiful vehicle, and it just got butchered by the gun handling. The rest of the tank is actually okay. It's pretty nice to play, but the problem is that as soon as I want to fire the gun, I yet again feel like I'm fighting the bloom levels more than the enemy that I'm shooting. Combine that with absolutely catastrophic DPM if I want to dump the full clip, and not really that great DPM even if I'm firing the last shell. It just doesn't feel great to play. Hit points wise, we do have 1,900, which is again absolutely fantastic. All of these tanks in this line, as I said, very, very good hit points. The top speed of this vehicle is 65 forwards and 18 in reverse with 19 power to weight. We do have 38% camo, but yet again, we do have a full camo crew, and we do also have a field mod, which I'm going to go into in a second, which is why some of these stats may be a little bit different from yours. And the view range on this vehicle is 509 using coated optics. However, you could happily go ahead and ditch the coated optics for something else, because even if you do get rid of them, you still have 463 meters view range. I personally would choose something like hardening, but you could choose IAU if you really wanted to, or even a turbo, or even low noise exhaust if you wanted to be a bit more sneaky. But just for this tech tree showcase, I left optics in there so it was the same for all of them. Obviously, once again, we are using vents, optics, and stab, the same as we have been using for the Pantera and the standard B. For the film ones on the Progetto, we go for the left, then the right again, then we go for the right hand side for number 7, and then we leave the last one blank. I don't really see the benefit of choosing either side here because you're at a detriment to one thing that is quite important. The number 7 film mod is probably the most important in this tank because 1, it reduces the aim time, but it also reduces the bloom after firing. Now when it comes to armor for the Progetto, you do actually have some, and honestly, looking at it now, I don't know why they didn't just nerf the armor and kept the gun to be really, really nice. Because they could have made this basically an Italian Leo 1 that has an auto reloader, and people would have loved it. The thing is with this vehicle, there's so many auto ricochet spots, as you can see on the upper hull, that you will get bounces in this tank. You may look at this and say, Max, this is only like 100mm thick. It doesn't matter because of the amount of sloping it has. However, if you do use heat, this thing quickly disappears and is absolutely easy to pen. But for those of you that do only have AP or APCR, you need to be aware, don't bother trying to shoot the hull, shoot the turret every single time. You do also need to be aware that you can overmatch the side armor because this is only 30mm thick. Anything greater than 90 caliber guns will go straight through this, which, let's be honest, is near enough everything you're going to meet at this tier. Caro is very aggressive here. Do I want to peek up here? I probably don't. I mean, to be honest with you, I probably want heat. I really wish intuition worked with these tanks. There's no reason why it shouldn't. If it works for an autoloader, it should work with this. Oh, this 60 TP really wants the 50M. Oh, off he goes again. Oh, I'm not gonna shoot the final one. E50M can finish him. I need to conserve the shell. To be honest, I could have maybe shot the full clip and then went into heat. That might have been a better play. Oh wow. He's actually just drowned him. Okay. Wonderful. I mean, that is some nice spotting, though. I can't shoot him because I don't have the gun depression. It's good spotting. Very nice. I think we just take the hit and go for the 268. Let's see how much spotting we can actually get here. Hello, friends? Any friendly gamers? Where's the FV? Found him. Ow. Let's just push this. I mean, this is many spotting here. Oh, and an arty shot. Beautiful. Look at them all. Oh, dear. And another wonderful 15-2 game. Oh, I'm not going to lie. I think we just call that good enough game. Apply. I don't want to keep playing this tank. Now, in closing, I don't inherently hate this line, and I think that from the tier 5 up to tier 8 is actually super nice and comfy to play. But the tier 9 and the tier 10 leave so much to be desired that I don't think it's worth grinding them, especially when you have other tanks in this game which are just better and nicer to play. The Centurion Action 10 and Leo 1 simply outclass the Progetto in every single way, and it is not even funny how much nicer and better they are to play. So for me personally, I'd just stay at tier 8. I'd stay at tier 8 and enjoy it. But that has been the Progetto 65 Tech Tree Showcase. I know there's a few people that absolutely love this tank, so leave a comment down below if you do, and I'll see you all in the next one.